Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from Anton Daniels.
Long story short, I am a single mom, and my son's father has not been in the picture since my son was very young. He's been gone for so long that it's like I made my son by myself. Today we were sitting in the car, and somehow we got on the conversation of like marriage and dad, because I like watching like romantic videos and movies.
Of course.
And my son was just like, I wonder when that's gonna happen for us. Like talking about family. And I always tell him like we're our own family, but I understand what he's saying because I do want that for us too. I want us to have that male figure in our life that is like an amazing role model for him, an amazing partner for me. And then he said, I can't wait to call someone dad again. I didn't immediately lose it, but that really hit my heart. I am still.
This is why we always like kind of put women on the forefront on this particular issue, is because you're the one that chose the horrible father in the first place, or a man that you kind of somewhat knew that wasn't going to be a good father. Like most of these women didn't pick, oh, you know what? I thought he was going to be a wonderful father, and then he turned out to be what he is. No, it was, I liked him. He was hot. He was attractive. He was a Chad Roan. He had nothing going for them, but he was hot. And then now you have children with this man and are upset that your children are growing up without a father. It's like, yes, the man takes fault in this too, but you also take a huge portion of that fault, lady.
I guess the thing that I'm trying to figure out is two things, maybe three, maybe four. The first thing that I have to ask myself is why, right? Because every time that I see a woman have this conversation openly and they want to, for example, talk about what they don't have, what they're doing, the fact that they're raising a child by themselves, is the first thing that I have to ask myself is, well, where is the father?
Yep.
And why don't he participate in the child's life? And is it something that you guys fell out as a result of? Did he go to jail? Did he die? Is he non-existent? Did he go get another family? Did y'all get into a big argument? Did you weaponize the child against him? Did he just decide to run out? Did you have a child with future? It's always that, because I'm a huge advocate for the woman going back to their baby father, right? No man can ever raise another man's child the way that the man that had the child raised the child. And of course, you're always going to have a bunch of people inside of the comments on some, oh, but my stepfather or whatever. Listen, that day is over. I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. Guys, it's woke. They are no longer going to subject themselves to being player number two or playing another man's save game or being a step crash dummy, because there is no real reward for raising another man's child. It's difficult enough, right? It's difficult enough raising your own child. It's harder than ever. As a person that has played a huge role in my daughter's life, because I've been married the entire time, I will tell you that, it is very, very, very hard to raise a child today. And when I say it's hard, I'm talking about the balance between time and pursuing your purpose with trying to balance a relationship while at the same time growing and your business is exploding. And so you have to choose between the two sometimes, or maybe you lose sleep. Whatever it is, it's very difficult. And then you're asking another man to come in and put that level of dedication into this child, which I'm not really sure. And let me also preface this by saying having a romantic movie time with your son is crazy to me, because basically this is one of the reasons why men grow up to be feminists. This is one of the reasons why men grow up to have this liberal mindset, in my opinion. And I'm not putting anything on her. I'm just speaking to the circumstance that she framed and posed to the general public. This is, in my opinion, one of the problems with what we see happening in society today. Now, again, we don't know why, so we're just left to just go based off of the information that she's providing. But I guess my big point is, why have children with a man that you ultimately weren't going to stick around with, which basically comes with the fact that we having sex before marriage and having children before marriage, which leans more to liberal views instead of being more conservative. And now she's breaking down saying that I want a man to fill that role in my life. I want a man to fill that role in my son's life.
You know, a touch of what Anton kind of said was not anymore. Right. Back in the day when I was growing up, I guess in like the early 90s, 2000s or so, there was actually a good amount of stepfathers. I don't think it was a uncommon thing. There was actually wonderful stepfathers that I've met throughout with because my friends had stepfathers and things like that. Nowadays, just like he said, men have woken up. They're woke according to what he said, right? They know all of the trials and tribulations. They know the amount of effort, time that they have to put into this child that's not theirs. And if something were to happen where they separate, all of that emotional connection that they ever had with that child goes away. Like they have no choice in any of that fact of being able to stay in that kid's life or not. Right? And men, they known it's a raw deal. Most men have known it's a raw deal, but they were very okay with the raw deal. Now men aren't willing to take it in raw anymore because without lube, it hurts. It really does.
What? Like, okay. I think it's disrespectful. I think it's incredibly disrespectful for a man to have to, or for even you want to put a man in a position to where he have to play step crash dummy to somebody else's child. I wouldn't even want to be around a woman that feels as though that's a reasonable ask, because it's not.
It really
It
isn't.
absolutely is not. And I don't advise anybody to do it on either side. If a woman decides, even though I think it's a little bit different, because there are double standards in society and in relationships. If a woman says, no, I wouldn't want that, or I wouldn't want to date a man that's a single father, I wouldn't trip on him. I wouldn't
Nope.
even think that it was necessarily a bad thing. You know why? Because that is a reasonable ask for a woman that do not have children. And so I don't know why, because again, and I know what it is. I know that we come from an era and a generation where men felt like they had to go and do this, or they was okay with dating single mothers and stuff. But we aware now. We woke now. Let me continue to hear what they got to say out here in these streets, bro.
But that
Crazy.
really hit my heart.
I am still trying to wrap my head around the fact that I have to build relationships at this grown age of 31 years old, platonic and romantic. And I cannot I'm literally talking to Jesus right now about it. I'm like, I don't know how we're going to navigate through this. This is not something I saw for myself, and I didn't have to expect to be doing this.
It's like when you're for the streets and all of a sudden you have to be a normal human being when you get older. This is the pretty much the epitome of that.
At this grown ass age, okay? I didn't expect to be doing this in my 30s. And I fear it's kind of like really hitting me. And I'm like, no, actually, how are we supposed to create friendships, create community? I can't even fathom dating for real. But being extroverted and also knowing that we're not, made to be isolated, and that we're built for connection and we all need companionship. I'm like, how is this going to play out for real? Because at some point, I'm like, God, we're going to have friends, right? Like at some point, I'm sure I'm going to have a man again. Like I can't imagine just living the rest of my life like truly solo dolo, but at the same time, I can, because
It's funny that women always say, no, just be by yourself for the rest of the life. Like I see women that make those type of videos. I see women that have that type of sentiment. But in reality, most women want companionship.
Yep.
I'm used to.
I mean, men want companionship. It's just not a lot of men qualify or even want to put in the work for a lot of companionship, especially nowadays. Again, juice ain't worth the squeeze.
Right now. And some days like this, it definitely makes me really sad, because I do feel like I thrive when I'm by myself, but I also don't like that, even from like a dating perspective. because I do struggle with like to my deepest core, I do struggle with being lonely, and I don't like that feeling. And so when moments like this, like when those deep issues, like when they start to come up to the surface, it's really hard to navigate and it's really hard to grieve. So I don't know.
Grieve?
Like, it feels like
Grief
I'm in a
about
growing
what?
pain in life right now, I guess. And I just feel like,
I just think that these women need to go back with their child's father. I'ma always say that. I'ma always stand on it. And I know that in a lot of instances it just doesn't make sense, maybe, or some instances it may not make sense. But if you are a single mother, the best place for you to be is under the covering of the man that you had children with before he moves on and go into a different relationship, because it's not always about you, it's about the child. And you maybe even, because it's not like you didn't love them before, because you had to at some point, maybe, if you decided to lay down and have a child with them. But you see women that are rather, they'll say that I'd rather be by myself than be with you. But then they get on the internet and they start to talk about how they'd rather be with somebody because they by themselves and they lonely and they don't know what to do, even at 31 years old and older and younger. And it's just bad. It's like a single mother epidemic. That's the real epidemic. I know a lot of women try to talk about male loneliness and all of this other stuff. I don't think that guys are lonely.
No,
I think that there are some men that may be lonely, and there may be a
true.
few men that think like that. But most men that are alone, first of all, they're not lonely. And I don't believe that it's the same when it comes to the epidemic that comes along with looking for a father to be an assistant in your child's life.
I mean, what do you guys think of what Anton said is the best route to go is to your old baby daddy or the man that you had kids with? I'm a little bit 50-50 on that. It's usually because these women are just so bitter with that man. They can never get along with that man, even if to raise children with him properly. So is it still the better choice? I can understand when he said that it's the best choice for the children, but when the mother is miserable, she's going to make everybody else miserable too, even the child. So how good of a step is it to step back and be with that man still when these women are just still kind of bitter about everything? Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.